Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today is a delicious gluten-free apple pie. I've had many requests for gluten-free baking, so today I'm excited to bring this one to you. It's apples that we picked in October, and of course, being the season for apples, I stored some to keep them for now, and I'll show you how to make a simple apple pie you're gonna love. Of course, apple pie is good for any season, and today I'm just going to show you a simple delicious recipe that you could make with regular flour or all-purpose gluten-free flour. But what we'll do first is put in our spices into our apples. We got 5 cups, and that equals to about 3 pounds of apples. We're going to put some lemon into our apples just to slightly blanch them. They turn a little brown when you keep them out in the air for a little bit. And let's get to adding the rest. We got a half a cup of brown sugar. I'm going to be using 1.5 teaspoonfuls of cinnamon. So if you like cinnamon and you want more, certainly add it in there. A half a teaspoonful of ginger. I'll share this recipe in under this video as well. A half a teaspoonful of nutmeg. And we got a half a teaspoonful of cloves, and I'm going to be using 2 tablespoonfuls of all-purpose gluten-free flour. So toss all of that in there and just to evenly coat all of your apples. And again, you can use any type of apples. Use the ones that you love the most or your family loves the most. And after you've coated that around, just put it to the side. We'll make our pie crust. So we got 2 cups of all-purpose gluten-free flour. I'm using here today this brand, but you could use whatever's available in your grocery store or market. We got a half a cup of chopped up cold butter. Works best for any pastry. We got 1 teaspoonful of xanthin gum, and this kind of blends in with any gluten-free flour to get it to bind together, and a 1/4 teaspoonful of sea salt. Now you can mix this together with your mixer, KitchenAid, or use your hand. Right now I'm going to use my hand, or a clean hand I would say. Make sure you wash your hands before, during, and after all handling of food. So after you've blended all in and you see that the butter is equally incorporated through the flour, you're going to be putting in a 1/3 of a cup of cold water, and you're going to mix that through as well now with your hand or with a mixer. Keep blending in the dough until you've got it turned into a ball, and then I'll tell you what's next. So after you've blended all together, dust your countertop or your board with a little bit of the gluten-free flour. Of course, this is all gluten-free here today. I do have pastries on Bonita's Kitchen that is for regular pie crusts. If you and I'll share that with you, of course, on this video. I'm going to cut it in half, leaving 1 portion for the top and 1 portion for the bottom. So I'm just going to put this one to the side. We're going to roll this again into a ball, because now we're just going to roll it out with a rolling pin to form a pie crust. So pretty much all we're going to do here now is just roll out this dough to fit into a regular size pie pan. Now if you want to, before you start rolling your dough, if you want to put it in the fridge to get that butter hardened again, you can. If you're wanting to do it right away, just get there and roll out your dough. So as you roll out your dough, make sure you got a nice helping of the flour on the bottom. If it's a piece that needs more, just break it off the other end and put it in, because this is going to be baked and you're not going to notice that. Now that's all I need. Now you can use your tin pan, you could use a glass pan, whichever one you got available. Also, this is a 9.5-inch pan, but you could use a bigger one and just keep rolling your dough a little bit more. So I'm just going to put some oil on the bottom, some butter, and before you flip your pie shell, give it a little with a spatula in under. Make sure that it's all away from in under your board or the counter before you flip it over. Now I'm going to flip it over to the pan. So just flip it over like this and just let it slide down into your pan. So what I'm going to do here now, so you'd see that you got some broken sides, break a little bit off and fit it in. When you're working with gluten-free flour, it's a little different than a regular gluten flour, and you'll find that the texture is a little different for working with, but it tastes still amazing and it's a nice flaky crust. So what I'm going to do now, I got 1 egg. I'm going to make an egg wash. You could use just the white if you don't want to use the yolk, or the yolk and the white. So I'm going to use both. So if you're using both, just take a little bit of the egg wash and wash inside. And pretty much what we're doing here now, when you put in fresh apples into your pie crust, what happens is, even though you're using a little bit of flour to thicken it, it's still a little bit runny, and you want for the egg to seal that from falling in through. I do want a couple of fork holes in there to get the heat to come through. And then we're going to toss in all of that delicious mixture. Just toss all of those delicious apples that got equal amount of seasonings in there, or spices. And when you taste one of your apples, if you want to add a little bit more something, you just do that. So that's all you need to do there. So we got the second piece of the pastry. So while you're waiting to use it, you can put it in the fridge, like I was saying, to cool down that butter, and that just makes it nice and solid when you're rolling it. So put some more flour out onto your board, equally put it around, and now I'm going to roll this one. So just roll this one out. Now if you wanted to put the full crust over the top, or if you only want to put strips, that's entirely up to you. But today I'm going to put the full crust because it looks so nice, and I like to have that equal amount of crust on there. So that's all you need to do there. So all you need to do now is take your pie crust and put down over the top of your apples. Okay, so what we're going to do now is pinch off the ends. We're going to keep all of that extra that's hanging there over the sides, because we're going to just go around like that. Except if you got a piece that you need to add a little bit in to give it character, you go right ahead to do it. Just poke it in there like that. I'm going to put an extra piece there. Now I'm going to show you what's next. So now what we're going to do again is put an equal amount of the egg wash over the top of the pie crust. And this will give it a nice golden shine there. It'll be beautiful. And equally put it around all of the pie. So what I'm going to do next is cut a little bit of an opening in the top, the shape of a V. And take that little piece and just flip back lightly like that. And then I'm going to put a couple of fork holes in and around like that. And that's it. That's as good as it gets. So all you need to do now is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and put your pie in there for anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes or until you see your pie getting a nice golden brown and that's starting to bubble there in the middle. What I got done here in advance, I got one made that I'm going to show you. I'm getting my oven preheated there. We'll put this one in. But what I'm going to do as well is make a small amount of caramel sauce so as we can drizzle over that delicious pie. We got 2 tablespoonfuls of butter or margarine, 1 cup of your brown sugar, and a 1/4 cup of evaporated milk or milk of choice. Now you can do this 2 ways. You could microwave it for 30 seconds to 1 minute and just until it melts the butter, or you can do it cook it in a saucepan. I'll share a link with you how to do that in the saucepan, but I'm going to get Raymond to put this in the microwave for me for 30 seconds. And after you see that your butter is melted, you start stirring around your mixture like this until it starts to thicken, and then we're going to be pouring in about 1 tablespoonful of vanilla. Mix that around, and that's all you need to do there. So after your pie have come out of the oven, you're going to cut it after it's almost cool or just cooled down enough. And now I'm going to take up a little piece. Look how delicious this gluten-free apple pie is. And look at the inside there, just nice and firm. The crust is flaky. And what I'm going to do here now is drizzle some of that caramel sauce over the top. And I'm going to serve this now with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. So all we need is that little bit of that vanilla ice cream, and then we'll drizzle some of that caramel sauce over that. Now how is that for making it for any time of the year and enjoying it to the fullest? I can't wait to have a taste. I hope you enjoyed this episode today for our gluten-free apple pie, and our pie crust is just so flaky and it's tender. And of course, having that caramel sauce and that little bit of vanilla ice cream on the side, so nice. So delicious. I can't wait for you guys to make it. It's delicious. I seriously can't tell the difference between the gluten-free recipe and my regular recipe for the pastry, because it's put together so nice and the flavors is in there, and that's all that matters, because you need to have that taste and flavor to enjoy it the same. So if you like this recipe and you want to get and see more, we're going to post this one down and under the video, and as well the subscribe button is there if you haven't already subscribed. We thank you in advance. I'm so excited that we sold a few of our little apples we picked there in October, and I kept them in storage so that I can make this pie and a few more pies through the fall. So again, you could visit us to get more recipes on www.bonitaskitchen.com, our Facebook page, or right here on YouTube. That cup of tea is nice. So thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us today. And again, I hope you found this recipe helpful for you, and send us a message if you'd like to see more of our delicious traditional and non-traditional Newfoundland and Labrador recipes. So from our kitchen to yours, thank you for joining us, and you have a wonderful day.
Join us by the sea, a journey in culinary, always an open door. Bonita's kitchen to yours. Bonita's kitchen, to yours.